This is season 8, episode 26, number 333. I like that. 333 of the Decoded podcast.
Mhm.
And this one's not going to end as quickly as last week's ended.
I was just doing a time check.
Okay, I know
Yeah,
we don't
yeah,
have that much time.
yeah. We don't. We don't.
Well, this is so what's been going on the last week and this week we our on-ramp is just all encompassing. What is it? What is it, Chris?
Mm, I think. I think. Well, first, you and I are in this really weird and intoxicating space. I won't say weird. I would say intoxicating space. Morning, Gary. Morning, Gary. Intoxicating space. I think of synchronicity. So now that you're in secondary, we both have clearer views of each other's portfolios, right? We get now the hallways, the behaviors, the players, the playing field, the rules of engagement, the weather, like all these kind of things that, the last 7 years at least, we've been speaking from, different stadiums, different leagues altogether, right? Like just different sports. And I think the synchronicity is making our conversations obviously interesting, but I think it also provides complications because we don't have a really good, dead man switch. Let me explain that because it sounds pretty grim. Do you know what a dead man switch is?
I believe I do, but explain it.
So the dead man switch, I know it from working in hospitality. So the dead man switch is usually some sort of a stopping button on a piece of machinery when some tolerance has been exceeded or some piece
Yes.
of machinery isn't seated properly. And what it does is it allows for safe stoppage of the machine. Check. You have to do some sort of a manual reset, so that you don't progress into unsafe territory, right? There's all the kind of funny videos on right now about the Cybertruck and the sensors, like people putting a banana in the back of the truck,
Yeah.
and okay, they've updated the software, so now it's not going to squish a banana. And then the next video is a guy trying it with his finger, and he's like, "Oh my
Right.
god, it only worked for bananas," right? So now that you and I are, I think, a little bit more synchronized, we trip through these conversations faster, and there isn't the dead man switch. At some point, me speaking from secondary, you in elementary, we would reach a space where the conversations naturally opposed each other, and they had to be to a degree. And we would kind of like, okay, let's breathe, let's do a different topic. There's no end now because also our portfolios are similar. There's enough similarities. The archetypes of individuals that we're encountering are similar. We still have the same, same and growing friendship. So we have that kind of energy feeding into it. I think that is part of the seed of what's going on in our on ramp. We don't have a clear way to say when because none of it's enough. We're now, it's like 6-7 years ago when we were just hungry and just like, I'm putting down 2-hour episodes of this podcast, right? Like there's a drive just to keep talking, keep going, keep going. So I think that's what's changed. I also think that just logistically, this season is a very dynamic season in education. In second semester, I say it to the kids all the time. I say, when we get into second, are you semestered? You're semestered at your school,
Yeah.
yeah? I say in second semester, and I say this especially as a reminder to the grade 9 students who have just come in. They've just done one semester out of grade 8. And they're still kind of in that, like, what? I have to do 4 different courses, right? I don't get to do gym all year, like that kind of a thing. So I say to them, I said, there is a different energy, and it's not because I'm saying it. It's because I do believe there actually is a different energy in second semester, because first semester can bleed over into second semester, whether you're doing credit recovery or you're sort of ongoing relationships, or there's a flow that sort of like still overlaps. Second semester ends. it's actually for the most part, an absolute deadline. So that really changes all these conversations around, we have to have this thing done by this. We have to have all these sort of like pop, 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 pop. And it's just like, it's this staccato. And you have so many of these things that have to be done. One, because we're all amazing professionals, right? For the most part. Two, because that is the new year. That is the refreshment. That is we're going on to the next school year, and we have to have these other pieces close just so that we can open effectively. And I think three, it's also because you get this overwhelming waking up on Friday mindset, like, I deserve this summer. So you have this anxious response too, where people, are working a little bit faster, sometimes a little more reverently, and you have these overwhelming number of deadlines that just have to be done by June 30th. So I think we're in that space, and that's a heady mix in this universe. I think that's a heady mix. And I don't think you can be in a student success space like you or I, but I don't know if it's specific to those spaces. I think every individual, I would say, let's say apart from caretaking, feels some of that pressure. Caretaking's, I think, on a longer game, they really do think of themselves as these 12-month kind of, there's more mess, there's less mess. There's more cleanup, there's less cleanup. There's more garbage, there's less garbage. There's more repairs, there's less repairs. I think they're more in a flow state. But definitely for the teachers, the educators, we're now 2 months and change away from having to shut down the cottage and get out before the end of the season. Like, we got to close the door for the summer. So that, I think that is the thing. That is the thing. And I'm okay with it. I think it's just kind of how we roll.
Yeah, it's how we roll. So on a fun side note, I've been playing around with this toy, the toy box thing, the trend on using AI to create like an
I,
action figure.
I saw yours.
Yeah, did you see the one I made for you?
Oh, no, I haven't. Did you tag
Oh,
me in it?
okay. I actually texted it to you. And
Oh,
your
when?
dog is in it this morning.
Oh, okay.
Um, I made one just of Clough, and then I did the Decoded Podcast one of the two of us. And I freaking love it. I'm addicted to it. It's kind of fun, but um,
What do you have to feed into it? Is it text descriptors, or it can trawl through like online
well,
stuff too?
I'm using a text descriptor, and it's actually a very simple prompt.
They are getting simpler.
They are getting simpler, and I like that. I like it a lot. But
It's also getting laggier, I've noticed.
tell me more about that. Like just this,
Well, I pay for the Chat GPT Plus or whatever it is, so I
yeah.
pay that. But I've noticed, like, they're adding features, like they've added projects which are kind of cool, and they have um there's different interfaces now that come just as part of like the base unit, let's
Mm.
say. But I have noticed that, like, the image generation is really slowed down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I found it's really slowed down. Um and it's sort of become glitchy. Like, it times out, it gets memory errors more frequently. And it doesn't matter if I'm on my school laptop or on my MacBook. Like, I find
Okay.
it kind of pops up. So all that's just me noticing something. It's not, I don't think there's a problem. Maybe it could be the way that I'm using it. It could be um that they're about to expand the tier system, something. I don't know. But I have noticed but I have also found that the experience is richer. Like, it's more simple for it to generate PDFs and documents. Like, some of that integration is happening a lot more smoothly. So I dig it. I dig it.
Awesome.
But I'll have a look for that. Today is another kind of busy day. It's yeah, I don't have, it's not an it's I don't have a lot of efficiencies. I don't know. It's when we were talking about that midweek, talking about the cost of efficiency. Um, because efficiency on one end means you're going from one task to another task to another task. And I know for me, I think for you too, we do have there's an element of spaciousness that we still like to have. in our schedule.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the word leisure. Just
That I would say that's definitely something I like. Yeah, I would agree with you. For me, um, I wouldn't use that because I would just say I wouldn't use the word leisure for me only because it's not the leisure, it's having literally that space from task to task. And I would say spaciousness even between my leisure time and my work time. So it's almost like a third space, I think
gotcha.
I had to put it that way, right? And
No, that
we
makes
talked about
sense.
this too. Yeah, like I don't say to myself, I don't say to myself, thank God it's Friday. But I do enjoy, no, it's not enjoy. I'm aware of the times when I have more schoolwork to do versus homework to do versus personal work to do. And probably in that personal work frame is where I would put in leisure, meditation, Tai Chi, exercise, rest. So, um, and efficiency becomes where I put those domains really close to each other, really close to each other. And I know for me, with those domains are too close to each other, that's high efficiency, but I get really stressed. I get really stressed and I'm not, I like the spaciousness. I don't need stoppage. And I can't say that I actually, that I need to have like 30 minutes between meetings. It's not, I'm not that refined. I'm noticing this from an emotional state. That's all.
Okay, I appreciate that, and it resonates. But I want to add for me, this week has been a very efficient week. There's been a lot on my plate in a number of different ways, reasons, layers, and I actually have been enjoying some inefficiency. The the efficient like last night, yesterday, I came home after work, and I had there there was space to exist between tasks, no problem. But I was playing around with that and I was shortening some up and I was building some time for inefficiency in my schedule because I felt I needed some distraction.
How efficient of you.
Well, isn't that funny?
Well,
Part of my
that's
efficiency
my
is
building in inefficiency, which
knowing
I
and
would say is just more efficiency. Yeah.
so get home. I told the kids I'm going to Costco after work. They had bright ideas about what they wanted to purchase stuff from the food court and I'm like, look, I'll get home, I'll drop my stuff off, I'll use the bathroom, and then I'm going to Costco. If you want to come,
Yep.
you're welcome to come. I'd love your company. So they actually both said, yeah, yeah, we want to go. Get home, do my thing, get in the car, go to Costco. After Costco, come home and just start to it was a time to just sit and relax, but there was no relaxing in that I have a list of things I would like to get done this weekend for work. So I jumped right into work and I was working my tail off until it was time for dinner. Then I had dinner with the family. It was good. Everybody went on their way. I went back to work, but I knew I was starting to lose steam. So this is where the inefficiency was built in. I have to write 2 IEPs this weekend and they can be difficult. Um, so as I'm working on one of them, got my cell phone right beside me and I have every intention of after doing about, 5 to 7 minutes of work, every intention of picking up my phone, jumping on social media whether I want to or not for a good 5 to 7 minutes and just scroll and laugh and enjoy and share
Mhm.
and put it down and get back to it. So finally, my kids walked in a couple times. They're like, Dad, are you working? I'm like, yes. But they're like, you're on your phone. I said, I know. And they're like, what is going on? They didn't understand. But I knew if I just focused on my work for 45 minutes to an hour, it'd be done. But I didn't want to do it like that. I did not want to do that because I knew it would suck everything out of me and I didn't want to have that feeling at the end of my work. So I built in I built in some slack. I, some people would say, well, did you enjoy your time that you built in? I did, but it wasn't efficient. So talking to you now, building in that inefficiency fed me and let me kind of keep going and gives me permission to do what I want to do, which I should have no matter what. But talking to you about it's kind of cool. Hey, we've got the Down and Back Cornhole podcast joining us. This is my buddy Doug. I know Doug from, oh my God, Doug, how many years? 7, 8 years? The boys played hockey together. I coached with Doug. Doug's awesome. And he's a big cornhole person. Can I say that? Cornhole person?
I don't
He's
know.
deep in cornhole, the
I mean,
Canadian cornhole.
the term, it's still. I mean, it's. I just I turn all giggly, right? Like, because you're like cornhole person, cornholer. Uh, I don't know, the
I know,
holer of the corn,
the holer.
holier than corn. I mean, there's so many great brand. You know what? All you have to do, and I don't think I'm being overly cheeky. I'm sure you join any league or whatever the hell this is played, and I'm sure every team has some variation that is both um, hilarious, slightly sexualized, and totally like dad joke team names, right? Whatever that, I am the ultimate cornholer, give me back my corn. Like everything is like, I think, open territory. I will say I have come to understand, I really do enjoy, in general, backyard games. And
Mm,
cornhole is like that. It is like that kind of almost like old school backyard game. Like I'm also an 80s kid, so I remember lawn darts as the most glorious and dangerous summer sport you could ever play, because in my crew we're throwing it right up into the sun, and then it's like run, and then you're sort of like trying to hide somewhere watching for where it comes down on the ground, right? But I also like we play well, often in the summer. We'll play the I don't know what is the rings game, which is a little bit like horseshoes. So it's like we got this wooden box. You open it up, and inside the box, there's like it's like almost like skee ball rings, and you have to toss these big flat washers, and you're trying to get it into the the centers, like whatever 25 points, whatever 50, 25, whatever 10. So we'll play that in the backyard. Just a variation on lawn darts. Lawn darts is just a variation on cornhole, right? I love it. I love it.
I love that too.
Happy to meet the dude. Happy to meet the dude.
Yeah, Doug has said to me several times, why do you guys go so early on Saturday mornings? I can't watch. And I'm like, I get it. I
Bad
get it.
details. Bad details. Like
That's how it
even
works.
him. Sorry, Doug, but I got to clock out in 2 minutes. So
That's right. Yeah, you got
yeah,
to go soon.
yeah, I'm all about the Tai Chi, baby.
So what's awesome about this is when we're done, I'm probably going to text Doug and be like, what's going on? Why are you awake so early? He's
I
probably
love it.
at work, going to work,
Yeah.
whatever, something to do with work. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, I like how we're ending this with the backyard games, the family fun that can happen. I know, so you know, I whenever we'd go to a hockey tournament or something, you could always count on Doug to have cornhole equipment that we could all engage in or with. So that's cool. So that's Doug, the
All
Down
right.
and Back Cornhole podcast. And I think he goes at like Friday nights, like late Friday night or late for me.
You either go how we do when it's convenient for us, or you go when you know your audience is going to be. I guess Friday nights is the time that.
Well, he's got an audience too. Like people know if you're into cornhole, you're going to listen to Doug's podcast. So,
That's good. That's
and if
good.
you're into how would you define us, Chris?
Well, if you're into education, you ain't listening to us. That's what I'll say at this point. At this point, this is just you and I meeting up for coffee and mapping out fun things to do. That's all it is. But maybe that's also what, Gary and Michelle and other people that have kind of dropped in and said hello. It's like the old pineapple conference thing back in the day. Remember those ones that were like the ed, what did they call them? You would go and,
Pineapple conference?
well, it's pineapple. It's like those
Ed camp.
conferences where,
Ed camp?
yeah, you just show up And then there would be the all call in the middle. There's no specific keynote, but they say, what topics right now do we want to talk about? They put them all on the post-it notes. Pineapple chart, pineapple, I forget what it's called. You put up all the post-it notes, and then one of the organizers categorizes it. And they're like, okay, we've got detentions, we've got AI, we've got the so
The
how do we put
parking lot?
it's the parking lot, but the
Oh,
methodology is something. The word is pineapple, EDU jargon. Yeah,
okay.
I can't remember what that shit is. However, I think that's kind of like how we exist. We're sort of putting up these kind of topics, and people flow in and out, and they decide whether or not they want to sit down and engage. Right. So a little bit cheeky. I think we're also offering up the real deal. It's locavore kind of topics, but it can get kind of niche. So
So before we go, Doug's just saying that him and I have talked many times about bridging education and cornhole, and he's right. We have. See, I do listen to you, Doug. Doug,
I would
that's my
say
ideas.
without knowing any of the content of those conversations, that is a match made in heaven. There we go.
Okay, on that
Perfect.
note, this was season 8, episode 26, number 333 of the Decoder podcast.
Ciao,
Peace.
man. Peace.